Hey everybody, KC here. First of all, I've gotten a bunch of emails this week from people saying, why are you suddenly doing your FaceTime with the content guys either outside or in your kitchen? It's very simple. My office, which is on the main level of my house, is the only room downstairs that has a bed in it. And Mrs. Content Guy, 2 weeks ago, had knee replacement surgery. She's taken over my office. I got to find other places to work. I want to end the week basically where we started the week, and that's in a discussion about Hy-Vee. A little bit of history. Morning Newsbeat picked up on a story from an Iowa paper basically suggesting that Hy-Vee was perhaps being a little more heavy-handed in terms of its pushing of political opinions on its employees than some people thought was appropriate. I ran that story. I got an email from a Morning Newsbeat reader who said, well, they get it pretty much right, that Hy-Vee is not as decentralized as it used to be. It was always well known for being a highly decentralized company. No, they're a lot more autocratic than they used to be. That email was actually very critical of CEO Randy Edeker. Subsequently, I got a response from Hy-Vee that basically said, no, this is inaccurate. Because the person who wrote the email did so anonymously, a little worried about retribution. That person either must be a disgruntled employee or must have an axe to grind, or maybe both. There were 3 other emails from Hy-Vee employees basically saying this is not the kind of company we work for. It continues to be highly decentralized. And another email from somebody who said, basically, no, Hy-Vee is not as decentralized as it used to be. And that happened at the beginning part of the week, and I basically said, hey, here's the deal. This is an interesting conversation about culture, and I'm willing to run it. Whatever emails people send me on this subject, I'm happy to run them. I've subsequently decided, I'm not going to run them. And part of the reason I decided not to run them was I didn't think we were getting anywhere. I didn't get any more emails from people who work for Hy-Vee basically defending the company. I got a bunch of emails from people saying, no, either they were more autocratic than they are decentralized, or, and this is really interesting, they were very critical of the way Hy-Vee responded to me, basically suggesting that the tenor of their response basically sort of verified the accusation that was made originally. They said, no, this sounds more like an autocratic company than it does like a decentralized, democratic, small d company. And I decided, something, I'm not going to go down this road because it was going to turn into a pissing contest. We were going to get some for, some against, and I wasn't sure it was going to get us anywhere. But I do want to make 2 larger points that are not even specific to Hy-Vee, but I think that this whole experience may teach us. First of all, from a cultural point of view, I think it's important for every company, whatever the culture happens to be, however iconic or respected it may happen to be, I think it's always important for companies to realize that maybe not everybody's with the program. And maybe the people who are not with the program aren't necessarily wrong. I think it's really important to listen to people who have a problem with the company. And by the way, this applies to employees as well as customers, and listen to them and say, gee, maybe they have a point. If your first reaction is to defend as opposed to reflect, I think it can be a mistake. I can remember years ago, Norman Maine telling me that, it was wonderful that people would hold them out as being an iconic retailer. And he said, it's great that we have a terrific reputation, but a reputation is what we had yesterday. We have to earn it today over again, because not necessarily people in the store today may not even know about our reputation. That's a really important thing to do. And again, important not to be defensive. It's important to be reflective. The other thing is, listen, you think Morning Newsbeat is the only place that people are complaining about Hy-Vee? Let me tell you something. Google I hate Hy-Vee, and there's a lot of stuff there. And I did a quick scan of it. Listen, a lot of it's old, and some of it I can tell just from reading it is wrong, but it's out there. One of the responses to me suggested in a very critical way that I was becoming like Glassdoor. Well, guess what? Places like Glassdoor exist today in social media, so people who work for companies can make their opinions of those companies known. It's important to understand that these days everybody has a voice. And by denying the validity of anybody who disagrees with you, saying that they cannot have a point because they just don't get it, is to miss the larger point, which is everybody has a voice, everybody has an opinion. And you know something? Even if you're a great company, the people who criticize you are not necessarily wrong. In fact, if they feel so strongly that they criticize you, they could end up being your best friend. They could end up being your best resource because they care enough to criticize you. The people who criticize Hy-Vee were not, even if they were very disappointed in the company, thought enough of the company to make their point. That's enormous. That has enormous value. And I think that hopefully this whole experience teaches us that, listen, culture is not necessarily to be defended, but it's something that has to always evolve and that we have to reflect on all the time. And the other thing is everybody has a voice. These are important things, I think, to learn from this experience. Anyway, that is what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.